So, welcome to Exodus 19, a nation married to Yah, with your host, Massey. I pray that you guys are having a blessed Sabbath, and I pray that whatever you and your family are going through, that Yah gives you the strength to go through it. Today, we're going to be reading from Matthew 16. Matthew 16, and the title is going to be Bread. So please go get your Bibles and let's read together. Keep each other accountable. And while you do that, I'll read my declaration, because my declaration is to open the eyes to those that have an ear to hear what the Ruach HaKodesh is saying to the assembly, and to set the captives free, and to heal the sick and to draw us closer to Elohim, and to show you the connection between the law and the New Testament every chance I get, but always with kindness and always with respect. And from there, we go to 2 Chronicles 7:14. If my people, which are called by my name, should humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, then I will hear from heaven and I will forgive their sin and I will heal their land. And from there, we go to 2 Corinthians 9. He says, now I rejoice, not that you were made sad, but that you were made saddened into repenting. For you were made sad according to Elohim, so that you suffered no loss from us. For the sadness according to Elohim works repentance to deliverance, not to be regretted, but the sadness of this world, it works death. And from there we go to Matthew 6:33, but seek ye first the reign of Elohim and his righteousness, and all these matters shall be added to you. And from there we go to Hosea 4:6, my people have perished for a lack of knowledge. And because you have rejected knowledge, I reject you from being priests for me. And since you have forgotten the Torah of your Elohim, I also forget your children. Father, thank you for carrying us, for giving us the strength to get through this life, knowing that you're only trying us and proving us to see if we would leave you or not. I thank you for your mercy and your grace, for your long suffering. I thank you for giving us an ear to hear what the Ruach HaKodesh is saying to the assembly. I thank you for this walk. I thank you for endurance. I thank you for healing. I thank you for allowing me to stay obedient and to give us more obedience. I thank you for us to have an aha moment, and that you take the blinders off of our eyes and stop us from drinking the wine that's keeping us asleep, so that we're able to serve you and receive the manifestations of who you are. For the hearts of man, turning their hearts of stone back into flesh, and turning the hearts of the children back to the Father. We worship and magnify you. Just keep understanding that nothing is more important than you. You are to be considered in everything that we do. We literally lose our lives for you. Let your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Just keep giving us this daily bread. And thank you for never leaving us nor forsaking us. In Yeshua HaMashiach's name, we give you glory. And thank you for healing. For family members, thank you. For friends, thank you. For myself, thank you for the manifestations of you, for touching our bodies so that we can continue to do your work. In Yeshua HaMashiach's name, amen. Matthew 16. Matthew 16. Now, having my notes, we have to stop the concerns of this physical world. Democrat, Republican. Now we got the fires in California. We got the mayor supposedly cutting the budget. We got allegedly a billionaire couple that owns the water in California. We have insurance company that canceled all the fire insurance for everybody out there 6 months ago. Allegedly, there's no water in the reservoirs to put the fires out, and the rich people will be hit, but the poor people out there probably will lose everything they have for a very long time. And it's sad, but I always say it's not about black and white. It's about politicians and rich people slowly destroying everybody while we focus on the wrong thing. And I think that this is another chapter that Matthew 16 talks about. You got the wrong focus. And while you're focusing on the things that they're allowing you to worry about, you're losing focus of the kingdom of Elohim. So I have in my notes, we have to stop the concerns of this physical world, worry about the things that we cannot control. We need to stop following the traditions of this evil world and focus on the kingdom of Elohim. We're a culture within a culture. Matthew 16. And the Pharisees and Sadducees came and trying him, asked that he would show them a sign from heaven. 2. And he answered and said to them, when it is evening, you say fair weather, for the heaven is red. 3. And in the morning, stormy weather today, for the heaven is red and overcast. You know how to discern the face of the heaven, but you are unable to discern the sign of the times. For a wicked and adulterous generation seek after a sign, and no sign shall be given to it except the sign of the prophet Johanna. And he left them and went away. So look at the way he talked to them. Straightforward. He said, you evil and you wicked generation, you don't get no signs. You so smart you could tell what the weather's going to be by simply looking at the sky. But you don't have the ability to see that the world is coming to an end. Your world and mine will be just beginning. So awesome how he just puts them in their place and he just walks away. 6. And Yeshua said to them, mind, and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. Watch the traditions of men, teaching false doctrines, being false prophets, deceiving many. He says, mind and beware of the leaven, the things and traditions that they're conjuring up that are so far away from what I'm trying to teach you. Decipher between the two. Because last week we talked about when they were talking about the washing of hands. And he says, why are you so big on washing your hands? But it's okay for a child to neglect his parent. He says, beware of the traditions of men, of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. 7, and they reasoned among themselves, saying, because we brought bread, no bread. So he's talking to his disciples, and they're thinking in reference to what happened earlier in this chapter, and the disciples still not getting it because they're asleep, kind of, sort of. Thinks that he's talking about bread. When he said leaven, that took them to bread instead of taking them to something that's beginning, something bad that's beginning that could fester. like traditions. I was looking up on my phone today. Which one was I looking up? Why do we say God bless you? Where did that come from? Let me see if I can find it on my phone. Why do we say God bless you? Where did that come from? The phrase God bless you after someone sneezes may have originated in Europe during the bubonic plague. It's believed that Pope Gregory I encouraged people to say this prayer to protect themselves from the disease. But in 2025, I say it all my life. But that's not in the Bible. That's a tradition of man. That does nothing for you when you say God bless you. It's the Pope Gregory I encouraged it during the bubonic plague. But we say it every day. Every time somebody sneezes, we say God bless you. Tradition of men. So now if somebody sneezes and you don't say it, you could be considered rude because you didn't say God bless you. So he said those are the levens that you need to watch out for, right? In 8, he says, but Yahshua, aware of this, said to them, "Oh, you of little faith." He says that because you're not understanding what I've been talking about, being as though you're right here with me in this ministry. He says you have little faith, little belief, because you're not catching on. And to me, it sounds like a small concern that he has with them not understanding what he's talking about. So I shouldn't feel bad when I'm pouring out what I believe is good stuff. And people are like, I don't understand what you're talking about. Or I don't receive what you're talking about. Why should I be offended? They did the same thing to Yeshua HaMashiach, and these are his own people, his own disciples, his own taught ones. Why should I be offended when I'm talking to another pastor or another person and they don't get it? Who am I that my words should be received over Yeshua HaMashiach's words? But Yeshua, aware of this, said to them, "Oh, you of little belief, why do you reason among yourselves because you brought no bread?" So I'm not talking about bread. 9, do you still not understand, neither remember the 5 loaves of the 5,000 and how many baskets you picked up? Remember the bread that you didn't have and we end up having with the 5,000 and how much we had left over? 10, or the 7 loaves of the 4,000, how many large baskets you picked up? Do you remember that bread is not, even though we don't have as much as we should, we can make do? Why do you think I'm talking about bread? 11, how is it that you do not understand that I did not speak to you concerning bread, he says, but to beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and the Sadducees, to beware of the traditions of men, to beware of the traditions of this world, of religion. He's trying to paint the picture of two separate sets of laws. 12, then they understood that he did not say beware of the leaven of bread, but of the teachings of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. Beware of their teaching, false prophets teaching false doctrines, deceiving the hearts of men. 13, now when Yeshua came into the parts of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his taught ones or his disciples, saying, "Who do men say that the son of Adam is?" 14, and they said, "Some say Yohanan the Immerser, and some says Eliyahu, and other Jeremiah, or one of the prophets." 15, he said to them, "And you, who do you say that I am?" 16. And Shimei and Kepha answered and said, You are Messiah, the son of the living Elohim. 17. And Yahshua answered and said to him, Blessed are you, Simeon Bar-Yonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father in heaven. This was not revealed to you through the flesh, but this was revealed to you through the Spirit. 18. And I also say to you that you are Kepha, and on this rock I shall build my assembly, and the gates of the grave shall not overcome it. And we're not going to even get into what other religions say, stand on when they. This is a big one for a lot of religions. That's why they honor Kepha, because Yahshua said that to them. They built a whole religion out of it, deceiving the hearts of many. He just basically said the information that you don't have earlier in this chapter, I'm going to try to give it to you so that you can continue to fight or proclaiming the truth. You and every other disciple that I have with me, I'm just happy to be talking to you. Because I asked the question and you answered, so I'm talking to you and saying I'm trying to build this church, and on this rock I'm going to build my assembly. On this truth, on this ministry, on these words, I'm going to build my assembly. And the gates of hell are not going to overcome it. Because even today, when you try to teach, there's people that push against what you're saying. That's what this whole chapter is talking about. He just happens to be talking to Kepha, but he's also giving it to everybody. Right? Because let's go back again real quick to 15, right? Matthew 16:15. He says, 15, he said to them, and you, who do you say that I am? Wait, let's go back a little bit. Let's go back to 13. He says, now when Yahshua came into the parts of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, his taught ones, he asked a group of men, saying, who do men say that the son of Adam is? 14, and they said, some say Yohanan the Immerser, and some say Eliyahu, and some say Yeremiah, or one of the prophets. But this is a group of men answering, and they said, 15, and he said to them, and you, who do you say that I am? 16, now Kepha just speaks up. He's probably like, I know you say. And Kepha answers, you are the Messiah, the son of the living Elohim. And Yahshua answered, said to him, blessed are you, Simeon Bar-Yonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father which is in heaven. And then the whole religion took that and said, because Kepha answered, he's a saint. Because you simply answered, you're the saint. My battery is about to die. Oh, wow. And Kepha Simeon answered, you are the Messiah, the son of the living Elohim. And Yahweh answered, said to him, blessed are you, Simeon Bar-Yonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father in heaven. I cannot believe this. And I also say to you that you are Kepha, and on this rock I shall build my assembly, and the gates of hell shall not overcome it. And I shall give you the keys of the reigns of heaven, and whatever you bind on earth shall be having its bind in the heavens, and whatever you loose on earth shall be having been loosed in the heavens. This is a horrible situation. I have to run and get my plug if I can. I'll be right back. Wow, that was close. Because I thought I was going to have to rush right through it. So 19. And I shall give you the keys of the reign of the heavens, or whatever you bind on earth shall be having been bound in the heavens, and whatever you loose on earth shall be having been loosed in the heavens. 20. And he warned his taught ones that they should say to no one that he was Yahshua the Messiah. 21. From that time, Yeshua began to show his disciples that it was necessary for him to go to Jerusalem, to suffer much from the elders and the chief priests and the scribes, and be killed, and to be raised again the third day. Who's going to kill him? Regular people or people in the ministry? Who's stopping him from saying what he's saying? Regular people or people in the ministry? People in the church? Who's stopping him? Just a question. Who is stopping Yeshua? Who's going to kill him when he goes to Jerusalem? Is telling you right here. And to suffer much from the elders and the chief priest and the scribes, to be killed and to be raised again the third day. He has to go there because the religious people don't want him saying these things, stopping the traditions of men. This is something to think about. This is not the average Joe Schmo walking down the street that's to kill him. It's going to be somebody in the church. It's the church that's going to kill him because he's stopping them from making merchandise of you. 22. He put himself aside and begin to rebuke him, thinking that he's doing something good, just like your friends and your family can do when you're trying to explain to them that what we've been doing has been wrong. They're going to take you aside and they're going to feel like Elohim is using them to rebuke you, saying, be kind to yourself, master. This shall not be to you. 20. He turned and said to Kepha, get behind me, Satan. You are a stumbling block to me, for your thoughts are not those of Elohim, but those of men. That is powerful right there. That is extreme, because he was just telling Kepha. See, now that same religious group that exalted Kepha and made him a saint, they must not have read this far down. Because whereas Kepha was just elevated to be a saint, Yeshua just rebuked him just now, right? Excuse me. 22. And Kepha took him aside and began to rebuke him, saying, be kind to yourself, master. This shall not be to you. 23. But he turned and said to Kepha, get behind me, Satan. Satan is using him to try to act like he cared. He says, you are a stumbling block to me, for your thoughts are not to those of Elohim, but to those of men. Man. Let's go to Philippians 2:12. Philippians 2:12. Philippians 2:12. It says, so that my beloved, as you always obeyed, not only in my presence, but now much rather in my absence, work out your own deliverance with fear and trembling. Keep trying. I don't do the Sabbath right all the time. I'm still learning. I'm trying to work it out with fear and trembling. I'm not just saying once saved, always saved. I'm working out my own deliverance with fear and trembling, attempting to get it right, attempting to honor him on the Sabbath every chance that I get. I know in my dietary law, I could be eating something with pork in it, but I don't know every ingredient. But my attempt and what I know for sure pork is in, I don't eat. So I'm working out my own deliverance with fear and trembling. See, I'm honoring the law. I'm doing the best that I can. I'm making an attempt to honor and to please him. Let's go to Revelations 22:12. Revelations 22:12. It says, "And I saw the dead, the small and the great, standing before the throne, and the books were open, and another book was open, which is the book of life. And the dead were judged from that what was written in the books according to their works. If you're under grace, what kind of works do you need?" And this is the end. This is Revelations talking about according to your works, according to your attempt to get it right. Don't we have a saying that says it's the thought that counts? If somebody give you a gift that might be a little mediocre, they'll say, well, it's the thought that counts. At least the person was thinking about you to get you something, even if it was not what you wanted. According to their works, Revelations 22:12 says, "And I saw the dead, the small and the great, standing before the throne, and the books were open, and another book was open, which was the book of life, and the dead were judged from what was written in the books according to their works." If you're under grace, what kind of works do you need? And we just read where it says, work out your own deliverance with fear and trembling. What kind of work is that? Let's go to Romans 6:11. Romans 6:11. Romans 6:11. It says, "So you also reckon yourselves to be dead indeed to sin, but alive to Elohim in Messiah Yeshua, our master." 12. "Therefore do not let sin reign in your mortal body to obey its desires." I think I have one more. Mark 10:21. Mark 10:21. "And Yeshua, looking at him, loved him and said to him, one matter you lack. If you're under grace, why does one matter that he lacks? But why does it matter? If he has one thing that he's lacking, what is he getting, a 90, 95 on his test? So why does the 10 or 5 points that he's missing matter? Can't he get grace and give him, round it up and give him 100? He says, "Go, sell all you possess and give to the poor, and you shall have treasure in heaven, and come follow me and take up the state." Come follow you for what I have to follow you for if I'm under grace. I could tell you no and still be under grace, right? You mean there's something I still have to do? Well, what is it? Just go back to Matthew 16:23. "He turned and said to Kepha, Get behind me, Satan. You are a stumbling block to me, for your thoughts are not those of Elohim, but those of men." 24. "Then Yeshua said to his taught ones or to his disciples, If anyone wishes to come after me, let him deny himself and take up his stake and follow me." Well, what am I following you for? I'm under grace. You're going to do all the work. I can lay back and chill because I'm under grace. I know you haven't died on the cross yet, but by the time I'm still going to be alive by the time you do. That's what I have to follow you for. 25. "For whosoever wishes to save his life shall lose it." You can get up in the morning, you can market yourself, you can hustle, you can bustle, you can have 19 jobs, you can have all the cars you want, you could be getting that bag, you could be making that money, you can be working on the Sabbath, you can be eating that pork, you could be doing everything that you want to do, right? He says, but you're going to lose it. He says, for whoever wishes to save his life shall lose it. You're going to fatten that bank account up. You're going to get all the toys and all the material things that you want. And when you die, you're going to lose it. So why do we say that just because you have stuff that you're blessed? He says, and whoever loses his life for my sake shall find it. Why do I have to lose myself for your sake if I'm under grace? Just to find it. I'm automatically going to have it anyway because I'm under grace, right? 26. For what is a man profit if he gains the whole world and loses his life? Why would I lose my life if I'm under grace? Or what shall a man give in exchange for his life? 27. For the son of Adam is going to come in the honor of his father with his messengers, and then he shall reward each according to his works. What kind of works are we talking about if I'm under grace? You talking about paying my tithes and reading my word and praying and going to Sunday school and going to Bible study and being on the choir and being an usher, those kind of works? It doesn't say that. But I know that that's what you think it is. Being a preacher, opening up a church. Nah, it's the law. 28, truly I say to you, there are some standing here who should not taste death at all until they see the Son of Adam coming in his kingdom. It's coming. The Son of Adam is coming in his kingdom. He's coming down in his kingdom. Wow. He's coming down in his kingdom. Didn't say that nobody went up. He's coming down. Merchandise of you. They're making merchandise of you to say that we're going up. He's coming down. Not taste death at all until they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. So we're right down here on earth, and he's coming in his kingdom, in his reign. He's coming down. They're not ready for this kind of messages. They're not ready for it. Make you think too much. People don't want that. So I'm live just on YouTube, and I do shoot it over to Facebook. I share it with Facebook, but I'm mainly on YouTube, and you can find me at 19_Exodus. So don't forget to like my page and to share my page where it applies. But don't forget to hit the notification and subscribe button. And let's give a round of applause to Elohim and Yahshua. Because they're worthy to be praised from the rising of the sun to the going down of the same. And always a shout out to Mr. Richard Turner for my background music. And shalom.